Welcome back, everybody. So today we are going over the Chohans of the light rays for the Ascended Masters. This video, when I did the research for it, so a lot of things in spiritualism are interconnected. And when it came to looking up stuff on the Ascended Masters, it's very web-like and it's very dense information. It's a little bit difficult to kind of get just simple, straightforward information because the individuals, the teachers, the yogis, whatever word you want to use for the Ascended Masters of each light ray, how they got here is a little unclear. It has to do with their level of ascension, how they ascended, but not only that, but who they were in multiple past lives. And that is just a lot of information I didn't necessarily want to go into. I just really wanted some basic kind of outline information for you so that if anyone sparked your curiosity or your interest, you would know what light ray to work with and who to work with and get a rough idea of who this person was, etc. Also, some of these have changed a little bit, so that makes it a little bit more difficult. But first of all, what are the 7 rays or the 7 light rays? So these come from the divine white light of the Holy Spirit. And divine white light of the Holy Spirit contains the entire light spectrum of the rainbow. And that is the way that these light rays kind of coincide. They are the different wavelengths of the different colors of the rainbow. Some of them do align with certain chakras, not all of them. So if you thought it was based off the chakra system, from what I found, it does not line up that way. At least from my interpretation and what I found. If you found something different and that resonates with you, by all means, use that. I'm not going to tell you not to. So the first light ray is blue. And the Chohan, I'm probably still pronouncing that wrong. I looked it up. The first time I filmed this, the mic wasn't working, so I am refilming it. But this is the blue light ray of God, and it is the will of God, or God's will, faith, protection, and power. And the focus of this ray is strength, courage, and divine will. Those who serve on this ray are inclined to lead, govern, to administer, to organize, and to execute tasks. I just have to execute, and I just felt like I needed to add on that extra word. Just saying. So El Moyra is an ascended master, and he represents the godly attributes of courage, certainty, power, forthrightness, self-reliance, dependability, faith, and initiative. He was supposedly the embodiment of Abraham, of Melchior, one of the 3 wise men from the East, King Arthur, Thomas Becket, and Sir Thomas More. Now, the Chohan of the second ray is the ray of God's wisdom, and this is yellow. And this is Master Kuthumi. I also found formerly Lord Lanto. And the focus of this one is illumination, or the illuminated action of God. This is the ray for those who teach and who understand and who know God through the illumination of his action, of his wisdom, and the wisdom of his law. This is a ray of enlightenment, education, and understanding. Master Kuthumi is the doorkeeper of the ancient mysteries and is also the co-protector of the Holy Grail, known as the ancient quest for true higher self-awareness, which is known today as enlightenment. So if you feel like it, go back and watch, I was going to say Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Absolutely great movie. Go watch that. But you could also watch Indiana Jones and the search for the Holy Grail. Was that for... No, that was really more, I think, about the moral code and like expectations. So I'm trying to think back to him in the cave with all the grails to figure out which one it was. Anyway, Master Kuthumi will be instrumental in the reemergence of ancient knowledge that has been lost to mankind for so long. He also endeavors to assist those who seek higher knowledge and instruction, encouraging all concerned to open their heart in order to express unconditional love to all. Now, these are just guidelines of who you want to work with, or maybe who is connected to a specific thing. I kind of feel like most people work between multiple rays of light depending on what you do, what your interests are. Maybe you have a career in one field, hobby in another, and whatnot. But the third Chohan of the ray of light is Paul the Venetian. And this is the pink ray of divine love, compassion, and charity. The focus is the love of God, the consummation of oneness in the Holy Spirit. Through this ray, this is the ray, basically the ray of artists. Those who are creative, sensitive, and intuitive souls. These are the ones who serve mankind through love, through charity, and compassion. They find oneness with the greater self in many creative avenues. Love, beauty, and artistic expression. He is the hierarch of the etheric retreat of the Château de Liberté, located on the etheric plain over southern France on the Rhone River. He is a great teacher of the path of love. His devotion is to beauty, the perfection of the soul through compassion, patience, understanding, self-discipline, and the selflessness and surrender. His devotion is to beauty, the perfection of the soul through compassion, patience, and understanding, self-discipline, and the development of the intuitive and creative faculties of the heart by the alchemy of self-sacrifice, selflessness, and surrender. He initiates the heart chakra, and he trains us in the gift of discerning of spirits, good and evil, light and shadow, and the delicate nuances of our creation's beauty. Discernment is the real inner sensitivity to one another. The Chohan of the fourth ray, which is a white ray, it's the white ray of purity, is Serapis Bey. And the focus on this one is healing, truth, and scientific endeavor. He emphasizes harmony and discipline. The fourth ray is the white ray of harmony through conflict and disagreements. Serapis Bey helps us with healing our mental body, and it is suggested that healers seek guidance and assistance of this ascended master. This ascended master works to ensure that we maintain healthy personal and professional relationships with people. He appears to us mostly dressed in a white robe. At times he wears a white headdress or shows up in dark hair. His aura has energy spirals of entwining white and gold. Serapis Bey helps us with the healing of our mental body. He will assist you to work deeply and closely with the Holy Spirit. The Chohan of the fifth ray, the green or emerald ray of healing, truth, and divine science, is Hilarion. This may also be known as Saint Hilarion, but he is a Hilarion of science, scientists, doctors, healers, mathematicians, and musicians who pursue a scientific mastery of the self and of the planes of spirit and matter. They do so through the quest of truth in every discipline, including the healing arts. The fifth ray becomes the mean by which those who require logic of the Logos can find their way back to the Christ consciousness or back to the God design. The fifth ray, the emerald ray, is the ray of divine precision, intellectual clarity, soul-level healing, and scientific illumination. It is the frequency that harmonizes spiritual light with physical form, bridging the gap between heaven and earth. So as I said, this could be Saint Hilarion, who was a monk and mystic who founded Christian monasticism in Palestine that was modeled after the Egyptian traditions. He was a disciple of Saint Anthony the Great, and he stayed with Saint Anthony in the desert before becoming a hermit at Majuma near Gaza, Israel. In 356, Hilarion returned to Saint Anthony in the Egyptian desert and found that his fame had spread there too. He fled to Sicily to escape notice, but he was followed there. Then he went to Dalmatia, Croatia, and then Cyprus. Hilarion performed so many miracles that crowds flocked to him when it was discovered he was in any region. As an ascended master, he holds a world balance for truth and for his etheric retreat, the Temple of Truth over the island of Crete. He is a guide for those devoted to healing, scientific discovery, sacred truth, spiritual discernment, and integration of the mind and spirit. Hilarion helps humanity awaken the deeper reality behind both mystical and scientific parts, reminding us that true healing and wisdom arise from unity with divine truth. His energy is often experienced as crystalline clarity, luminous green light, calm certainty. He serves those who are dedicated to being channels of truth and vessels of healing in in all fields, whether as energy workers, scientists, teachers, or spiritual seekers. The Chohan of the sixth ray was the ray of Jesus. He is considered an ascended master. This is the ray of Master Jesus, of peace and ministration of God. He is the way of the selfless servant, and Jesus served for 2,000 years as Lord of this ray. He now serves as a world teacher. Lady Master Nada took over for him, and Lady Master Nada took over as the Chohan of this ray. And the colors of this ray are purple and gold as the twin flames of Christhood. It is the way of those who minister in these energies of peace and the evolution of earth as counselors and comforters in every walk of their life. Lady Nada is also a member of the karmic board on which she serves as representative of the third ray, or the pink ray of divine love. And this is the focus of this ray is peace, devotion, and service. Lady Nada is an initiate and master of the path of the ruby ray, and she teaches the unfolding of the rose of the heart, helping us to develop sensitivity of the heart. She is very much involved with the initiation and sponsorship of twin flames in the Aquarian age of family. Lady Master Nada is the soul's advocate before the bar of divine justice, unifier of families and twin flames, qualifier of love as ministration and service to every part of life, a path of deeds, prerequisite to self-mastery of the ruby ray. The servant is not greater than his Lord. Now you will notice that in this description, there is no ruby ray. I don't know what the ruby ray is. I did not really dive into that. This is what I mean when I said a lot of this information, it's very web-like. Like, you can really go down a rabbit hole looking for this information and just following this thread here and that thread there, and what does this do and what's that do and what's this and who's here, and it's so trying to just get very simplified information was a little bit difficult, and I feel like Lady Nada kind of drives that home, because what is the karmic board? What is the ruby ray? I can do videos on those if you want. I had not intended to. Maybe I will eventually double back around and get to that. But so I apologize if you're listening to some of this stuff and going, why are there no explanations? Because that would have been a whole other trajectory that I wasn't really willing to go down, because I had to rethink how to take my notes for this a couple different times to just condense the vast amount of information that I was finding, that I was like, I don't think I need all of this information. Like, this is not what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for straightforward stuff. And finally, the last and seventh ray is the violet flame, or the violet ray under Saint Germain, who embodies the qualities for freedom, mercy, and transmutation. And the focus of this ray is transmutation, freedom, and mercy. Saint Germain gives us hope for a better tomorrow because he works with us to ensure we live our lives uprightly and responsibly. As Chohan of the violet ray that represents alchemy, magic, change, and transmutation, he focuses on the Christ consciousness of this ray. The seventh ray is our soul ray because we all reincarnate in one of the seven rays. He brings in laughter and humor into our lives. He also bears the attributes of grace and dignity. The flame of the seventh ray is the violet flame. And you invoke the violet flame with the I am affirmations to balance karma and send joy and forgiveness to any stress point in the world. As Chohan of the seventh ray, Saint Germain initiates our souls in the science and ritual of transmutation through the violet flame. And he is the reason why we went down this trajectory and this rabbit hole to begin with, and that will eventually be one of the videos. I have the books. I have a couple books I can use, plus articles I looked up. So that is my hope, that I will get to do a video on the violet flame once I get through some light reading. So I hope this answers some of your questions. Take care, everybody, and I will see you all again very soon. Take care.